Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. We are here again this week with Mr. Nate Harper, known also as Forged in Crypto. Say hi, Nate.
Hi, Nate. How's it going, everybody?
We have some interesting stuff going on today. Titan, you wanna let people know about what we were talking about, or what we plan to talk about, or should I?
Go ahead, man.
All right. Well, I even wrote this up as notes to Nate and Titan here. Spider Tanks is going live in a few days, meaning many more people are going to get very interested in the concept of players getting hooked up with great NFTs. That's my plug for Players DAO.
Players DAO, which I'm updating right now in the Discord, in the Platinum Discord. Apparently, it's need to make sure it's the right one. Oh, there it is.
But I was playing Spider Tanks the other day, and I'm starting to, and I play late at night with a few different friends, and I'm starting to notice that there's a lot of people, probably in Asia somewhere, playing that have some badass machinery in Titan, kicking my ass and my team's ass every single game, and I'm thinking that might be one of those Korean gaming houses that they have, that they're all sharing those high-end NFTs.
Kind of like a DAO.
I bet they're not a DAO, and that was my lead-in. I already made one plug for Players DAO, trying to get people interested.
I've been dealing with this with a few other games out there right now, like EVIO, CryptoBots, and I know it's the same way with Axie because I'm dealing with a lot of the people that were, working with a bunch of individuals in Axie. And there's some giant clans, guilds, whatever you want to call them, that are specifically, they're just farming, right? They're just farming out these people, whether they pay them, some of them just pay them a wage, whether it's dollar per hour or whatnot, and they don't actually get a share in what the game is. Or what they're earning in the game. It's just, like I said, purely you grind for 12 hours a day, you're going to get, $3 or whatever they're giving them. I don't know the Korean one for the Spider Tanks. I have no clue about those guys, what they're getting. I'm assuming there'll be more of a play to earn share type of situation. So I don't know. It's weird. Like the EVIO base, recently had a big change. They when I first had a bunch of my NFTs, a lot of the players would come and they'd say, hey, they were all top players. They were all like top 5 players, all 1,000 of them that came. And I was like, okay, let's share. I'll start you at 60-40, 60 for you, 40 for me. Like, I'm not playing and I just want to give out the NFTs. And it soon went up to 90-10. They were demanding 90-10 or they would go somewhere else, and there was a whole guild that was out there that was pushing it forward for this 90-10 situation. Well, the main developer, Forgeable Sum of EVIO, basically made it impossible for you to earn more than 60%. He put a cap. He said, nope, these NFT investors, they're the ones that bought these, they should be earning more, but it's their choice. But I'm gonna let them only go 60. And man, there was a big old uproar with that. So, but the people were just farming. I mean, they were just farming it out hard. They're just out there grinding these games. So, and it's not necessarily that they're out there playing for fun, unfortunately.
I feel like there's going to be a big war, it seems, in play to earn games because the AI is getting better. And I feel like there's always going to be I just feel like there's going to be a war between AI and humans, and that people are constantly going to get better and better AI, and we're going to have better and better AI detection stuff, because this is money. This is real money that we're talking about in these play to earn games. Right. And there's going to be just vultures in this area. How do you protect against something like that?
I think it's tough, man. Like,
am I going to have to give 3 forms of ID eventually and answer a whole bunch of questions about my close family members and all this stuff in order to play each game?
Maybe there will be some sort of KYC and not a, intensive, blood draw type KYC, but, more simplistic style, which people will work around, especially these really large. They're going to go out and have a entire business wrapped around the fact that they have, 400 employees in the Philippines that they're paying, $3 an hour to play video games. And they're all going to have KYC wallets that they're playing on. And there's ways around that. So what do we have to do here to make it, or do we just let the market decide, right? I mean, the free market can change things, and, you choose with your dollars if that's what you want to do, or play a game that you want to play that's not, overran by those, the people that are trying to take advantage of it. And the other part is we only have so many games right now in play to earn, right? How many that you can count on your hand? There's probably 5 or 10 that are out there that actually are earning a decent, with a decent economy. But man, give it 5 years. How many play to earn games are going to be out there? What is that going to look like? And you're not going to be able to farm it as easily, or it won't be as prevalent because we're just seeing it all concentrated in one game, right? You're getting spider tanks you were playing the other day. And so they got everybody on there. But I mean, we'll have to see, right?
I'm not too sure. Sorry, Mr. Titan. I'm not too sure that the market is very good at deciding if an AI is very effective or not. Go ahead, Mr. Titan. I just wanted to throw that in.
Well, I just wanted to throw in, I think that's really something important when you mentioned they demanded 90-10 or they would leave, and then having it forced kind of into the system 60-40, that clashes a lot with that decentralized part, right? About letting the market decide and people just doing what. How do you? I mean, with the DAO, how do you approach that? What is your initial thought after experiencing something like that? You go, boy, what are we going to do now if people come in and do that to us?
Well, I think that I was going about it internally, and I was paying 90-10. I didn't care. I just wanted to get my stuff rented out. I wanted to see how the game progressed. I had been talking with the developers. We've been working with internally with EVIO to create a better system for their rental program, and more of a management side. So for me, I felt like it would smooth itself out, because in the beginning you got all these people that are in their grind and they're taking advantage of it, and they are good, and they are they're playing 12 hours a day, and they're like, I want to get a bunch, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, you take 90-10. But as we get more players in and it starts to really water down these top players in quotations, and you can start to then say, yeah, okay, my top players, I can give them a little bit more, or I have way more players that are in the lower or mid range, and they're going to earn that 60-40 or 50-50 or 70-30, however we want to do it. It's so early. You got to be flexible, right? And you have to kind of go with the flow. If you push back on it, you're just not going to go anywhere, I think. I didn't really agree with Forgeable Sum in what he did, as in, I like the market to decide it, but not my game. So, it benefited me though. Obviously I started earning, way more with my EVIO stuff. So that was great, but I'm just putting that right back into the game anyway. So.
Well, it's going to give valuable data. I mean, you're going to have a bunch of different companies responding in different ways, and the market is going to be able to look and see what the different people did and probably settle on what one particular company does. I think there may be an element of governance then that might need to appear eventually to keep things from looking too decentralized, or it might be just a standard. Because right now, when you're making a play to earn game, the centralized part is the game itself. It's one thing for you to get a bunch of NFT land and weapons and all that stuff, but the centralized part is, right now, there's only one game using those NFTs. You can design the game however you want, and you can also design it to have percentages of earnings. So, okay, uh, the real fun begins, and this is what I've been waiting for since before I got into NFTs. Is and I'll use Gala Games Mirandus as an example. What if multiple games out there started using Mirandus land? Now you have a game that's directly competing with Miranda's stuff. It's kind of like alternate ships for your Star Wars action figures, but they're not
Oh.
made by Hasbro. Those are going to be some fun times.
Oh, because we talked about that internally. Like it's when you look at crypto, they had your vampire attacks essentially, right? So you would get looks rare, for example. They dropped everybody that used OpenSea, and if they did a certain amount of transactions, they got a certain amount of looks rare token because of OpenSea. Well, they're a direct competitor. It's the same thing, right? You can go in and say, like Miria, and they have their Moonville farms. They could have said, you know what? Come and use your Townstar NFTs here, and you can earn on Moonville farms. And guess what? We're just going to point to your NFTs and have it in game and do this fun thing and yada yada yada, and then stole all of those players right out from Gala as Gala's trying to get the game back online, and they would have just been like, come and earn over here. But and I think we see that. I think you're right. I think we're going to see something like that happen, a vampire attack or maybe a Remora type attack that's going to go on these games, and you're going to utilize those NFTs. I've thought about something similar with the DAO. Right, you come in and you have Spider Tank NFTs that aren't being usable yet, right? They are now, but let's use a different game. Let's say Superior, right? And we're like, hey, we really want people that own Superior NFTs to come to the DAO. We have our own internal token, and we have a simple game that we've made, and it's a first-person shooter. Whatever. Come in and play that. And you're going to earn like an EVIO model. You're going to earn, 1 DAO token per kill, right? And you come in and you shoot them up, and we give you a DAO token, but we're pointing to you can only come in if you have your Superior NFTs and earn if you're using Superior NFTs that you've deposited with the DAO. So you can do something like that, and then as it transfers in, Superior is a much better game. You're going to want to go play that. Right. So,
well, you just brought up a pretty troubling possibility, which is Looks Rare said that you didn't get something if you were had your stuff on a competitor. So what's to stop Gala Games then from saying, well, if you've used your NFT on this other game, I don't know how they tell, but if you used it on this other game, then you can't use it on ours.
That would be interesting. I mean, why not? I mean, it helps secure their stuff. I mean, it should be pointed at their game if that's the way they feel.
Well, okay, then what is it's your NFT? What's that really mean then if you're always tied to a game that's centralized to some other? I mean, essentially that makes the NFT centralized then, right? Yay.
100%. It is. I mean, they're looking to do that anyway. They want to have people rewarded for maintaining their NFTs within their wallet and Gala within their wallet, right? So they want to centralize it so it's not pushed around already. They're not a decentralized company. Gala is not at all. Like even their network is not decentralized realistically. I mean, I think it's like 78 80% of their nodes are ran on Volta or Vita or AWS, which are all concentrated into, your major hubs and major cities, Chicago, LA, something along those lines. So, I mean, really, how decentralized is anything that they have going on? How decentralized is anything anyway that's out there? Like, give me something that's an actual decentralized project right now.
Bitcoin.
Now, so I should have been more clear.
I win.
What is anything that's new, right? I don't think you can have anything that's within a few years of being out that is truly decentralized.
Well, I would call the Bitcoin the gold standard. Now, really, if you wanted to, I call it a gold standard because anybody can develop for Bitcoin. However, there is a source of truth even with Bitcoin. I'll undermine my own assertion in that there's a Bitcoin organization that keeps the code, and anybody develops for the Bitcoin blockchain, things would then fork over to that. And the whole thing that keeps it decentralized in a way is if a government went after Bitcoin.org or the Bitcoin people that actually developed for Bitcoin, it would just move to another nation with another team, and then that other team would just carry it forward. So you'd be playing whack-a-mole. I think the crypto world has to get good at this whole concept of decentralization, and they barely understand it.
Yeah.
And yes, you make a very strong point. What in the world is actually really decentralized? Not a lot.
Now, I love the idea of decentralization and the ability to move towards that. I think there's, a color graph of, the amount of decentralization when you look at different projects, the green being the most decentralized, red being the least. And, I tend to lean towards those projects that are closer to the green, right? That I really like, that I really want to move towards. But there's not many, there's not many at all.
It's not designed, I don't think, to be decentralized. They just use it a lot as a buzzword to get people interested in it, right?
Yep.
Because it's something a little bit different. Now, Faz and I have argued ad nauseum about the spectrum of decentralized, right? It's either decentralized or it's not. That's my standpoint. And I think that it's possible to get to that at some point. I don't think it's feasible in the next decade, though. I would love to see it, but I really don't think it's going to happen.
But as long as you're moving towards that, right? Like as long as you can see the movement towards decentralization, like let's look at Gala's node system itself. The more that we get, now this may change if they go to sell their node model, but I think the more that we look at their V3 model with their nodes, they're easier to run. The potential of it creating an environment that can be more decentralized. Obviously, that's what NerdNode's trying to do. And as they move down that road, hopefully those nodes start to basically be given out to more people to decentralize the actual system.
Well, but wait, so this was one of my big sticking points, right? So you can have it called decentralized just because 500 people have a hard node, not even a software node, but a hard node in their closet that's running this. If the company that gives you that node is the one that has closed source and it's their proprietary software, I don't care if they're in 500 different houses in 16 different countries. That's not decentralized.
I'm with you. And I think that what they're looking to do is actually with Gary Chain or Geary Chain, I hope we can figure out what that actual chain is going to be, is it's going to be an open source code that is not going to be an in-house centralized company that is controlling it, from what I understand.
Well, I think that's why they keep saying, "Oh my God, wait till you see," right? So yeah, I know. So the big point that I was trying to make with that is I think they're doing it great. However, the little branch in that visual that they put out where they jump into the Gala side, all that's going to be locked under Gala with the, hey, we'll get there eventually kind of thing. And I think that we'll get there eventually means when they're tired of doing it and they can't make any more money, they're going to go, here you go, all yours.
Yeah, and I think the node system, as it's broken up in with Gary Chain, Gala is just basically going to be a subsidiary of the Gary Chain, and it will be completely centralized, right? They're going to have their game companies and their game nodes, and they're going to have control of the code that goes in and out of those. It's not going to be a decentralized system. It'll be a centralized system on the Gary Chain, which hopefully that will move towards more of a decentralized type system.
Wait a minute. I want to back up just a little bit because we now have listeners on Apple Connect and other places like Spotify and Amazon. Can you explain what the heck Gary Chain is?
No, I don't think anybody can.
Gala Games, by the way, is a gaming pay to earn company that has been popping up recently.
Pay to earn? I thought it was play to earn.
Whatever.
You pay a lot and earn a little. That's what it's about.
Ouch.
Anyway,
You said the quiet part out loud. Okay, go ahead.
So Gala Games has a node system which they use to distribute their token and a portion of their NFTs for their games. They have recently announced that they're going to have a second chain that's going to come out, which is going to be the umbrella chain, and that's Gary Chain or Geary. I don't know how they pronounce it.
That's their working title, GYRI, but they call it Gary for short.
Yeah, which is it's the folds in the brain or the GYRIs, those the Gearys, whatever it is. Anyways, so that this chain is supposed to be the overall umbrella, and Gala will fall underneath that. So the Gary chain is going to have its own node ecosystem. Supposedly they're not going to sell it. These nodes, you can stake your Gala and a founder's node or some combination thereof to be able to run a Gary node. They're probably gonna have other ways that they're gonna
any founder's node, or the founder's nodes are the only ones that can do that.
From what I understand that I've read so far is that it's a founder's node, and this is all
preliminary.
This is all gonna change like it normally does, but this is the stuff that we kind of know now, and then it's going to be an open source blockchain, layer 1 blockchain that people can use to run their own company, their own node system, their own token off of, much like you have Ethereum and you have all the tokens underneath Ethereum, kind of a similar concept in that. So, and they decided to make Gary Chain because there wasn't a layer 1 that was able to handle what they were looking to do, and that's in terms of transactions and transaction costs and transaction speeds. Because in most games you have a lot of little microtransactions all throughout, especially once you actually get a boatload of users. And so they needed something that was going to be able to handle that, which, by the way, found out today, well, over the last few days, I've been using Polygon for a bit, and man, because that was one of the things they looked at doing. Instead of creating their own layer 1, they looked at using somebody else's layer 1 that was already built, which, sounds great. Polygon's horrible. It is expensive. And it is slow. It is the slowest blockchain I've ever used. It's slower than Bitcoin. Like, I literally have to wait 20 minutes sometimes for a transaction to go through. It's insane. So with Geary, so again, the details, as always, are sketchy as can be. So my question is, they talked about healthcare companies coming aboard and putting on, yada, yada. Okay, the sky's the limit, right? So if I'm running a Geary node, do I get a piece of that action? Does the hospital send me tokens for hosting their stuff as well? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's only going to be the Gary token from whatever's being run on that actual chain. But
so that's the thing is what is the benefit then? Oh, we get transaction fees that are supposed to be like 1/10 of a cent, and we get 10% of that, or 1/100 of a cent.
Well, I can probably help you. So
okay,
Gala Games came up with a really neat node ecosystem idea, and they have games, they have music, and they have film and stuff like that. And then they quickly realized that they were limiting themselves because they couldn't expand in other areas if everything fell under a game node, and their game node system used Ethereum. And so, of course, they decided to create their own chain. But then this chain itself needs to be kind of, in a way, disassociated with the company, because they want other people to use this ecosystem, probably for, I don't know, SEC reasons. It'd be nice if this was completely open to everybody. Then you'll get a lot more people wanting to help maintain it. You get free maintainers, and you get a bunch of ecosystems on Geary. It's very useful. It's not a bad idea. to split things out like that.
I think it's a great idea.
The problem comes with you have a lot of people who got into the original Gala Games founder nodes, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to be subordinated under another another node network." Well, sort of. They were only games at the time that you got the node, and they will only be games even when the node is using the Geary system. It's almost like saying, how come I don't get an Ethereum node because I have a Gala Games founder node? Well, it's not exactly the same, but they're hinging on one thing that Gala Games said, which is if you own a founder's node, anything else you'll get a part of. Anything else new that you'll get a part of. And so I sense some company restructuring, which is necessary because Gala Games is getting bigger. But Geary is necessary. It's necessary for it to be a separate entity altogether than games, music, film, and your beloved founders nodes.
The beloved founders knows.
Yep, I have some. I have some founders nodes, and I don't know. I don't feel too entitled to a Geary node. I would certainly want one, but if this is to be a new blockchain that anyone can use, I would want other projects to use this too.
Yeah, and I think since this is not falling under Gala, I think people were upset that it wasn't Gala and the Gala founders nodes that were the overall umbrella for everything. And I think that's where a lot of people got upset. I didn't care. I think
there's a certain amount of centralization there. If the founders nodes were kind of in charge of everything, that's them elevating that up to that point. It feels to me like Gala nodes are vehicles and the Geary chain is the road. And they're like, we want to put the road out there so we can get other vehicles out there, and we can't manage the road.
I think that's a great analogy. I 100% agree with that. They need a better road for all of these things to run on. And that's 100% why they built the layer 1. That's why they were looking at different layer 2s, is because Ethereum couldn't handle it, right? We saw Ethereum fail over the last, 18 months in terms of transaction fees and speed and just overloading the system. There's so much, I think it was all due to the NFT craze and stuff, but still, it just showed it couldn't handle it. So they needed a better road. It was a great analogy. Good job, Pat.
We're talking about Geary. We have a number of people on. We haven't gotten a single comment. Well, we got one from LA Toolman about something in the beginning, which I don't know what he's talking about. But does anybody have any questions about Geary? I'm just curious.
Nobody knows about Geary though. Like, you only got a little bit of information there. I think they said they were going to release the white paper, and I actually think they said white paper for it in Q3. Is that right?
Beats me. Titan, you know this stuff. I have not seen anything on that. I just keep hearing. I listened to Bitbender on that AMA about it, and again, it's more info soon. I have not personally seen anything on it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they said they were going to release something sooner. Oh no. I'm misrepresenting. The white paper was for the Townstar new release. That's supposed to be queued in the next.
Oh, that's that I did see.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Geary. I think though, Geary's live because I think that Spider Tanks is going to be running on Geary, or it currently is. Isn't that correct? And that's why V3. That's why they're pushing the version 3 of the Node software.
Oh, and that's only going to be live in a couple of days, and they want everybody to upgrade in a couple of days, or else.
Well, I asked. I said, "Hey, so you said November. Does that mean November 1st, or are we like beginning of November, middle of November, along those lines?" Because us at NerdNode, we're running over 1,500 nodes, so it's like we need to know that, because are we going to be pulling all-nighters just to make sure that we're going to get those all transferred over? Now we've already transferred a few over to the version 3 and been running on those, so we're not too worried, but it would be nice to know so we have a little bit better of a plan in place and not.
Let's jump back a little bit. You just started talking about NerdNode. I'm not sure if we did but I wanted to make a specific plug, and now we have the Nerd Node logo up here, which I'm not getting paid for, by the way. This is all me. But Nerd Node.
What? That
Yeah.
cheapskate isn't paying you?
No,
Nope,
actually,
he's
I
not.
am paying him in my presence.
Wow. I'm really thankful now.
That, and I tweet at you. You're welcome.
I get some. Oh, I get some mean tweets from him when
I got you a new follower, man. I think it got you at least a new.
you got me one follower. Yeah, last night when I was fishing around. Just sometimes I just poke around to see what like attention I can give or get. I'm like, will this do something? Will this do something? No. And so Nate decides to smack my little pee-pee last night. And but whatever the case is, I wanted to get into Nerd Node. So you have all these Gala nodes that are actually transitioning from one version to another.
Mhm.
And I know that you have a company called Nerd Node, which will manage your nodes for you. And whenever they transition, there's always trouble. And you guys are able to deal with that trouble, right? Without us
Yeah.
needing to worry about it if we're running with your service.
As much as we can, and we had some. That was a few days ago. I don't even know what day today is. I was a little busy today, but a few days ago they had some issues, and nodes just went down. They didn't know why. They just were going down, and we saw it on our end. And we've got scripts and people that are on the back end punching a bunch of numbers and watching blinking lights and stuff, and making sure that they get brought back up. And to make sure that people got their rewards. And everybody got their rewards through that time. I think it was a 7% increase in daily rewards, which isn't much, but they didn't have to worry about it. They didn't have to sit there overnight and continually try to re-up their node and then be like, screw it, I'm just not going to get this one. I'll just wait for them to fix it. That's what we're there for.
So can you tell me how much this service is for? I'm still not a Nerd Node member. I'm doing everything manually myself. I might put one on there just to try you guys out, though.
Well, Nerd Node itself is a big project that we have in like the running of the nodes is kind of a ballast for us as a base layer. Like we started it and we saw the opportunity that there's these Gala nodes and other node systems that are out there too. We're not just running Gala nodes, but any type of like soft node that you have to have a machine or a virtual machine to run on, we will do that for you. And manage it and make sure it's up and running. And that's what we do. I mean, we run scripts. Now with Gala, they have APIs coming out. We used to have to use magic links. Now they have APIs with V3, which will make things even nicer and easier for people to be able to onboard. We take care of all the problems. Like if anything goes wrong, we're there, and we guarantee that if we do something wrong, if we are the one that makes a mistake and you miss out on some rewards from your nodes, we will refund that reward to you in that currency, whatever it was for that day that you missed out. So that is what we do.
You guys need to have a Twitter. I thought I saw.
We do, but it's really a boring Twitter. Like nobody.
Well, you could keep people abreast of the current node news. Be like, hey, there was a level 5 emergency last night, but hey, we covered it. We got it. You're cool. Don't worry. We got your back. We rewarded everybody who didn't get rewards.
You're right. We 100% should do that.
Safu.
Yeah, I mean, our presence right now, we're not looking like we're pushing a lot of our in this crypto winter where money is thin. All of our income we're putting into hardware and building up our own network itself, and then individual employees that we're looking to bring on for different things. The social media side we're not too keen on yet. There will be a time, and
I see you guys like downdetector.com. Have you heard of them?
No.
Downdetector.com is a great site to where if any website that you're aware of, you're having a problem with, like, I don't know, maybe you go into Comcast websites, like, what the fuck? Or my Comcast is whatever. Go to downdetector.com.
Right? If Steam goes down, I can't play my games.
Exactly. And they keep track of all, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, every site. And they ping them and they do whatever. But I go there and they're a nice source of information. If you go to that website, downdetector.com, you'll see graphs and it'll show constantly when they're up when people report it, and it's for like each of the states, 50 states in the United States. I don't know if it's the world yet, but it's been great for me for a number of years. That's what I was thinking of Nerd Node when I first heard of him.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Don't disappoint me, man.
No, we can do something like that. I think our big dreams are we want to create a decentralized AWS in a sense. We have no grandiose ideas of that we're going to be anywhere the size of AWS or anything along those lines, nor are people going to always be looking for the decentralized version. But that's what our goal to build is. And running these nodes and for Gala and other companies or and other people, it allows us to take that income in and put it into a lot of the development of that. So, and it's an interesting time right now in the bear market because people are just like it's hard to find people building things. And when you do, hold on to those things, watch those projects, man, because they're going to do something good most likely.
That's what gets me is people. Okay, so I've been dealing with this on CryptoFaz Academy today because in the last few days, people the scaredy cats have multiplied on CryptoFaz Academy, freaking out about various things. Oh my god, I'm gonna sell all this. Oh my god, this is going to shit. No, this is a bear market, dude. Shit's gonna go south during the bear market. Companies are gonna start having more issues. And I don't want to defend any particular company or area, but if you felt that you made a smart decision in the the bull market, and you're worrying now when you're in the bear market, are you worrying just because you're seeing values go down, or are you worrying because you're worried about this company's fundamentals?
Yeah.
People worry about the fundamentals of the company. Every company, they're like, no, it's not a bear market. I'm worried because of their fundamentals. Well, companies that are honest about the bear market hurting them probably shouldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I hear a lot of it too. I see a lot of people, just kind of worrying about what's going on, and man, it's a tough time. I mean, we just look at the legacy markets today. We're coming into earnings, and they just got hammered. Right? Facebook's down 25%. Amazon's down after hours. I think Apple actually is up a little bit, but it's like all these companies, all this stuff that's coming down, it's rough, and it's going to be rough. I don't want to give anybody any false hope because I don't think you're going to see us come out of the woods anytime soon. Our overall, ecosystem with interest rates continually are going to be rising. Inflation, it's unchanging, if not rising, and we got wars going on. We've got elections that are going to be happening here in a couple weeks. So in the States, which I think you probably only have US listeners, maybe, I don't know. But all this stuff just creates uncertainty. It creates fear for people because they don't know what's going to happen. So the best advice is just to either, if you have something, just hold it and just wait it out. Just
go do something else. Go do one of your hobbies.
Look, one of the best sayings ever, and I fail to use this saying a lot, I just want to say, is time in the market will beat timing the market almost every time. Like nobody's going to time the market, but your time in the market, it'll heal itself. If you look over the history of a market, it will go back up. Something will happen. So just take a chill, go, like Faz said, go find a hobby, go start to whittle yourself like a little troll character or build fences. I don't care. Dig a hole and then fill it back up. That's what we used to do in the military.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, dig holes and fill them back up. Well, I think the whole point is if a company can actually survive fairly well during a bear market, they're probably going to be okay during a bull market. And also, if you're so overextended that you can't wait through a bear market, maybe you should rethink your investment strategy. Invest money that you have, not money that you don't have. Well, sorry, that's my investment style. I don't want to suggest things for other people. There's no financial advice here, but let's not get me in trouble. But I mean, I've only invested money that I have. I refuse to do shorts or all sorts of risky crap that can put me in debt above my eyeballs overnight. That shit's scary.
I mean, you can short a market with money that you have. You don't have to.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I still have to learn about that, but I like the idea of just buying something that I know that's going to work, hold, and then I go work on other shit in the meantime, and then that shit can go up on it at its own pace. A lot of people that I see on Discords act as if their few NFT or coin investments are the only thing they have. It's like, come on, guys, get real,
Yeah,
diversify.
you're your first investment. Remember that. That's the first investment you should ever really focus on is yourself. That is financial advice.
That's good advice. Titan, where are you?
I'm
Usually
right
you're
here.
trying to jump all over us.
No, I'm just letting
We're
you
saying
guys
smart
chirp away.
He's just enamored at all of my great input.
he
He
is.
just can't handle that. It's just too good.
No, so I think Nate, you know what the hell you're doing. Faz, you know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. Half the people that I talk to know what they're doing. And there's other people that know what they're doing but aren't thinking. So they see their friends, they see the Twitter posts about people getting to be a millionaire by buying Doge, right? And so then they see the next yo-ho jump up on TikTok and be like, hey, look at this shit coin. It's, you can get 1 million shares for 83 cents. I'm putting $5,000 in this. And they lose their money, and then they get pissed. And it's like, come on, man. Play a lottery ticket once in a while. Sure, we all do it, right? We see a good project. We're like, yeah, it looks a little sketchy, but boy, they got a really good idea. You throw them a couple of $100 and see what the hell happens, right? If you've got it, if you can afford to lose it. But oh my God, some of these people, they're just getting absolutely wrecked.
Well, if you remortgage your house, you have access to a lot of money that you could.
Oh my God. when they yanked the plug, when they pulled the plug on Townstar, right? I just sat back like the meme, right? I sat back with my fucking popcorn and I'm watching these people go, there goes my income. Now what am I going to do? Why in the world would someone base their entire income on a game? That I was just like floored. I was blown away. I hope people really don't think that this is going to be the case where they can just quit their day job. In
South Korea.
Oh my God.
Titan, you would literally have an aneurysm if I sat you down and walked you through my last 5 years of investment strategies. You would probably literally die.
Yeah, you think?
It'd be pretty close.
Okay, let's go through them one by one.
No. I'm not putting it out here. People are literally going to take it and they're going to be like, oh my God.
Remember, failure is always an option. And it's
I failed plenty of times. I mean, I paid my dues and learned. I learned a lot of mistakes and lost a lot of money. And did a lot of things that I don't regret any of them. I mean, I'm in a good spot, so obviously I don't. But I learned from them, and then I continued to do different things that go against the grain. That is my style, but also learning from those mistakes I've done before, and have done really well. I have a lot of pushback from Chris. You've met Chris. I don't think Titan. Have you ever talked to Chris? Probably not.
No, I haven't yet.
Romancer on Discord. He's my business partner here at Blackharp, and he's fairly conservative. And so it's amazing that he's actually a partner with me at Blackharp. But he had the balls enough to jump in with some of the investments I wanted to do. But he keeps me grounded in a lot of ways. As in, he definitely likes to play by the book, and in terms of what is normal or what is thought of as the way things should be, I normally push back on that and look for different ways. And yeah, I'm not going to go into details because people will take it for what it is and go crazy, and that's
They'll take it for investment advice. They'll
yeah,
do
exactly.
they'll do the forged in crypto plan, and then they'll get
Yeah.
wrecked.
Yeah,
Like you did.
we can talk about it offline one of these days.
Well, it's that there's a lesson there actually in that any investor that you see that has any modicum of success has lost their shirt in the past, or stands to lose their shirt if they haven't done it yet, and I mean that's part of life.
It's a paid education in just a different way, right? As long as you learn from it, that's how mistakes are for. Mistakes are great because they're one of the most fantastic learning opportunities that you can get. I try to impart that knowledge on my son as much as I can. Like, good, you made a mistake. You're not dead, so guess what? Now you can change it. Now you can learn from it. Go
Well, what's
forward.
that? P.T. Barnum went from rags to riches like 3 times, I think.
I don't know. I saw the musical.
I don't know if I could handle that. But we started. I had actually started wanting to talk about spider tanks and the DAO.
Oh, yeah.
Can we get back to spider tanks? That's going to be happening in 3 days.
Let's do it.
So Spider Tanks is a game from Gala Games, which promises a play to earn mechanic. Though I'm not sure on some of the details. Things are they're gonna be starting up on October 31st. I believe you get to earn real silk coin. That's silk. Spider tanks. Spiders make silk. So they have a coin called silk. You'll be able to earn that starting October 31st if you go to, I don't even know what site to go to for the app.gala.games to play it. And so I'm interested. In order to play, you got to buy a tank, which can cost you $100 or so, either from Gala Games, or if you go to OpenSea, an NFT marketplace, then you could buy tanks there. You could buy weapons for the tanks. You can buy stupid little skins for the tanks that'll make them faster and stuff, and additional stuff. But they promise, I think, what kind of Axie kind of promised before, and part of me is thinking that the new Axie is coming on October 31st, but another part of me is thinking that everybody's so broke and poor that it won't catch on very fast.
So, how much have you been playing?
Me? Every damn day.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to phrase this for people who don't know what Spider Tanks is, so I was speaking a bit general.
That's fine.
I don't want to speak to our core group of Gala Games like enthusiasts.
What's your so
not telling people.
I look at it and I think of it's the mobile game, which, by the way, Spider Tanks is supposedly going to be mobile as well, which is great. I think it's a fantastic mobile game.
That's going to be hard. I don't even know how you control the damn thing.
It's what's the game by Supercell? Damn, I can't think of the name. Basically, you have a team of 3. You're running around trying to kill the other teams. Usually there's multiples on there. I don't know.
So you have these tanks that are all kind of like, they're all tanks with legs, or most of them have legs. You could drive in any direction and then shoot in any direction at the same time. It's like being a Roomba with a gun on it.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, it's a cool game. I mean, it's a great game. I think they have when it gets released like to the wild and it's actually earned, it's going to be the best play to earn game out there by far. Like, for actual gameplay, it's a really cool game. It's really fun. I like it a lot.
I'm sorry. Axie is a neat idea, but Axie, boring. I mean, you got these cute little whatchamacallits, and honestly, I would figure out how to play with cute little whatchamacallits too if they made me a lot of money. But this one doesn't even need that. It's a really fun game, but it's a very action-based game. You got to play a lot. It's more it's what's it called, Twitch gaming, where you're constantly running around shooting things. It's not like a chess game or something slow. It's really fast paced. Yeah. I think that may turn off a lot of older people, and I am an older people, but I think it's going to turn off a lot of older people who don't like Twitch video games. They'll tell their sons to make their allowance with it or something.
Yeah,
but I think more than allowance funds will be earned with that. I think they might even stand to make themselves buy themselves a new car if it gets popular.
I know somebody who the same thing happened with Townstar. The kid got really into Townstar, and the dad was like, "Sure, let's get it going." And he basically bought his first car with his Townstar earnings, which I thought was really cool. It's a pretty sweet little deal.
Oh yeah, and that unfortunately that seemed I bet that happened in the beginning of Townstar and not later.
Well, yeah, I mean it's not now because you're not earning anything with Townstar now.
So. Well, because they temporarily paused their distributions because apparently their economy needed some tweaking. But that the same thing's probably going to happen with Spider Tanks too. I expect a big run up in valuations, and then a precipitous fall. And if they get really popular, this is the scary part. Spider Tanks becomes a new noun like Axie Infinity is. The SEC is going to get interested and say, wait a minute, this economy just cratered. We need to control that. Just like they keep mentioning stable coins crashing all the time now. And I worry about the day actually that the U.S. government or just governments around the world decide to regulate gaming in the same way that they regulate our economy. Our economy right now, the president can go and say, you know what, we're going to subsidize metals. We're gonna make it easier, or we're gonna subsidize gasoline because this is better for us. I could easily see if gaming like this takes off after a while, they're gonna say, well, we're gonna subsidize certain types of games or certain actions within games. They're gonna want to regulate it because they're gonna see people getting rugged in a way. Maybe everybody that plays Spider Tanks and plays in a certain way gets totally just screwed. And the government could eventually come in and say, okay, if you do this in a game, you're going to have to pay us a fine, to the gaming companies.
Well, I think in the U.S., what they're going to try to do is make it so you as the player are now an employee or a independent contractor type of person, and you're going to have to fill out some forms and get some sort of 1099 or something like that from the game.
License to play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way they're going to try to make it happen. I mean, realistically, are they going to be able to do that? I don't think they can on all fronts. Like you're going to have companies like CryptoBots, which is outside of the US. And, in order to play, you can play the game, but in order to stake on there, you can't from a US user's, perspective. They don't allow you to stake because you're in the US. And so what are people going to do? They're either not going to go to the game or they're going to use a VPN. They'll find a way around it.
That is until the federal government finds out that you're still doing it and then fines you later, years later. Like, oh, back in 2022, you went, you violated sanctions and you went around. We sanctioned that game and you used a VPN to get around it and pay a fine, go to jail, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get that notice. I didn't get that notice in the mail.
Not yet.
Well, and I can't see all these gaming companies having a downloadable tax form every year either, because they're not going to keep track of what you're earning. They're going to give you,
required.
if you're lucky, they'll give you an API where you can pull it down, and then it's up to you to claim whatever it is you're going to claim.
Yeah,
blockchain would pretty much record what you got when you got it. They don't need to do anything really.
That's a big problem, right? So I can't wait to hear how Gala's going to do this, right? So how are they going to, on this Geary chain, how are they going to value these NFTs that you're swapping or selling to other players? And you say, well, it's not an on-chain transaction. It's a private chain transaction, but it still has to be valued because you paid ETH for it or Gala token for it or whatever. This is going to turn into a big nightmare.
Well, that's okay. So that's a good point. So one, I think if and then I could see why they would even want to do a private chain thing. That's an account, just like an account at a bank. And there, in my opinion, there would and should be reporting requirements for anything private chain. That said, I think they're going to ride the line as long as they can. If they do have if they do focus on private chain kind of stuff.
Are they going to have a nice big warning for a trade that says, this is a taxable transaction and must be reported?
Were there warning labels on cigarettes before they were required to by law? I mean, no. Why would they do that?
Well, that's my point with stuff coming out of the stores, right? Some of this stuff is higher than the $10,000 transaction limit before it has to be reported to the government, right? People bought $50,000 stars for EOE, for cripe's sake. Now there should be reporting on that, right?
They cost more than that.
So there's another I guess angle that you have to consider for regulation. Is it may not just be the SEC or the CTFC or whatever 4-letter or 3-letter they come after. You've got IRS that could come after. You've got a lot of these other Homeland Security for these large transactions. I mean, these are concerns that nobody's really addressing. OpenSea is the same way, right? OpenSea doesn't do that stuff, and they probably will end up. I mean, it's going to turn into a shit show with what they're going to have to do with this regulation, I think.
Just to remind people, OpenSea is an NFT marketplace.
I'm gonna bring you back to Spider Tanks again because Gala released their little pilot orientation. Have you taken that yet? Have you done your pilot orientation?
Just now? What? Huh?
Oh, you haven't seen it?
What was this? Since we started broadcasting?
I don't know. Maybe they have. So they're putting things together to get people ready for the game. Like, how are you going to get in and play? What does it mean when you're piloting a tank? Is it your own tank? How do you get somebody else's tank? That kind of stuff. Because right now you have a bunch of people that bought tanks, and there's people that I know, me personally, that bought a lot of tanks because they were going to be earnable, and they're going to do a slow roll. So you can't loan out all of your tanks at one time. But one is they're not going to have as many players, so they need to make sure that it's not all ran by one person that owns 100 tanks, and he's taking over all these players and earning all of the silk. So it's all on one side. That's why they're doing a little bit slower roll. But you have to use a tank. You can, and it's owned by somebody, whether you own it yourself or somebody else. And so that's the little pilot guidelines. It's kind of showing you, what it means to be a pilot and what, how the tank works. And it's giving you the basics of the game. So I know they're going to do a big marketing push with all this stuff too, once it actually gets going and you start to get more people playing. So it'll be interesting.
Well, does that mean, if I'm hearing you correctly, you have to have a pilot in order to play, or no?
You can be the pilot. You have to have a tank. Whoever plays that tank is considered a pilot. So
I just posted a link to that to the pilot orientation article that you were speaking about, Mr. Nate.
Oh yeah.
It's on Medium, on the Spider Tanks Medium Gal Games blog.
Yeah, so you can own a tank, and if you run that tank, you're technically the pilot. So whoever's playing the game with that tank is the pilot. So it's basically giving it a brief rundown of how you play the game.
But they want to make it so you can loan out your tanks to other people, right?
And you can loan out, I think, one tank per account. If you own nodes, you get an extra pod. You need these pods to be able to loan them out. And so if you have multiple nodes, you can get one pod per node and loan out more tanks. I don't think anybody has as many pods as they have tanks. That is one of your bigger holders. There's quite a few people that own, 30, 40, 50, 100 tanks. I do not own 100 tanks. But I know there's people that are out there that own 100 tanks.
There are gaming houses in South Korea that probably own 100 tanks.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're playing against the whole gaming house, right? That bought a bunch of tanks, and now how are they going to get around the lending aspect? Are they creating a separate account for every single tank they have? Which
a lot of those things are run manually. I mean, you're basically, what they would probably do is log, probably recording stuff, and then log their time, saying, "Okay, I got this from 1 to 2 o'clock. I played this. I won 17 matches. This is what my score was when I started. This is what when it was ended." They'd look at your paper, and then they'd hand you the appropriate coins, well, or cash. Maybe they just keep all the coins themselves. But I mean, that stuff can be done manually, very recklessly, but it can be done manually.
If they're really going to go into it that hard, like you're suggesting, that you were against them, I have no doubt they would absolutely sit there and create 100 accounts. They don't fool around when they take that stuff seriously. And I'm not talking about just the overseas things. There's people sitting down the street from you over in Portland that are doing the same damn thing.
Well, yeah, you could create 100 accounts and then just give out passwords to people and then do it that way. So I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, especially if one account gets to rent out one tank, then if anybody's not on the account, quickly rent that tank out on this account. Here's the paper with the password. Go do it.
Well, and that's one of the reasons they talked about doing KYC. I was upfront, and I even told Gala that I was making multiple accounts, and I did it for May Mayhem, specifically because there were people that wanted to be a part of May Mayhem that didn't have NFTs, both for Spider Tanks and for Townstar. And so I created multiple accounts so they could compete and play in the May Mayhem. I did not. I don't have time to grind like some of these people want to do, especially Townstar. And so I made multiple accounts. I think I have 8 accounts through Blackharp to run. Now I can't run all my tanks through those at all. I have multiple tanks, but I can run 8. But I also bought 8 nodes personally, and I bought 7 with Blackharp. So, I can run that many if through the nodes themselves. So will people do that? Yes, I've done it. So I know people are going to go to the next level and do a boatload more. That's where the KYC potentially comes into play. And I know they mentioned it. They haven't really kind of dived in. They haven't dived.
They haven't gotten into it.
For me. They haven't gotten into it more outside of mentioning it one time. So I haven't had one drink yet.
So, okay, I have a story about that. So, and this is about Star Citizen, which everybody hates it when I bring up Star Citizen. So back in the beginning, when Star Citizen was rather new, they were putting out their ships and people could start using the ships, but they're all account bound. Star Citizen's a non-blockchain game, and it's probably one of the most famous Kickstarters out there. But you'd buy these ships to play the game, and you bought them for thousands of dollars a piece, and then you'd play the game. But of course, you might want to sell them at some point. Well, you can't because they're account bound, and so people would start selling the accounts. And when the people who make Star Citizen, they're called Cloud Imperium, when Cloud Imperium was asked about it, they're like, well, we know about the gray market out there and we discourage it. And if we catch you, we're going to ban the account. But we know it's there and we're just tolerating it right now. As time went on, they started getting more, clamping down more on that, and they used more ways to ban your account. It's worth mentioning that if you have a blockchain game and you get banned from a game, doesn't mean your NFT is banned from the game. However, if your NFT has been stolen, they actually try to ban the NFT as well, which I think kind of goes against this whole concept that, it's yours. But I don't like the idea of Gala Games enforcing things with stolen stuff. But that's a tangent. Anyway, getting back, they'll clamp down more, and then what you can do now, you won't be able to do later. So expect the rules to change.
Interesting. Okay, so with Spider Tanks and Jiri and everything else launching, what are your plans, gentlemen? Are you guys going to be rocking 12 hours in Spider Tanks for the launch next week?
No. I'll probably play a couple hours a day, not 12 hours. I got too many things going on, man.
Yeah, I have a life. No, I'm going to be playing some. I have some tanks.
Yeah. I got to get it in before I go hunting too. So I only got 4 days once they go live before I head out. So, and I'll be gone for a week, but I'll definitely be playing. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the game to see what it can do. I'm excited to see their economy and how that can hold up. They've really made it complex compared to any other blockchain game economy that's out there, like incredibly complex compared to all that stuff. So
yeah, about that. So some things I've learned is if you're playing a tank, you can only earn so much with that tank loadout, which means, I don't know, say you start winning a whole bunch of like 7 or 8 games with your lava tank. After a while, you'll get diminishing returns, and you got to either change out the weapon and or the body, and then you can start earning more again. And the more I play it and start hooking up with people that are playing, the more of these rules that I hear, and there's a bunch.
yeah, there's a ton. It's interesting, and that's just you earning, like how you can earn, like the distribution. You know, you have node distribution that goes out. You have burn mechanisms that are implemented within the economy itself. There's a lot of it all hinges on how much is played the day before. So there's so much that goes into this economy. It's going to be very interesting to see it play out. I'm never a fan of complexity, especially in the beginning. I'm a KISS kind of guy. I'm a very simple person. I call myself a simpleton. Like if it gets too complicated right away, I think it just kind of detours a lot of things. But hey, they pay people money to figure out these things, so hopefully they did well. I'm excited to see it happen.
I don't know. My opinions of Townstar is that they had a simple idea for an economy that kind of it got out of control because people kept finding ways around the rules that they had put on there.
Well, in the beginning, they didn't even have rules. It was literally like you place down your NFTs, you earn on an NFT. Then people were taking those NFTs and they were sending them to multiple accounts and earning on that NFT every day. And that's where the ban thing came into play, right? So then they had to interrupt that. And then, people just started getting around all the certain things. And then they realized, oh, we have nothing else built in other than a complete and utter like flow of this token onto the market. There was no way for it to burn or recycle at all. And so that was it just toppled down. Like of course it was going to.
Well, I think my observation of how Gala Games has worked so far is the moment they come up with something, they put out there. And I think, Yahoo actually has done this for years. Yahoo does daily builds on all their stuff. And so they put stuff out there every single day. And I think that's really good. The moment you got it, you have it ready and it goes out there, you're able to maximize how much money you make on things. The problem is things break down with the with an economy. If you put an incomplete economy out there, smarter people than you are going to figure out how to take advantage of it. And that isn't entirely bad, but if you can't keep up with that, then you're going to get majorly rickrolled.
Yeah, I agree. But I kind of like to see things get rickrolled that deserve to get rickrolled. Like Townstar deserved, I shouldn't say deserved, right? It was obvious it was going to go the side of complete disaster. Like it was all going to just too much coming. It's like the U.S. economy just printing money, right? Guess what's going to happen? Things are going to go to shit. Well, it did, but I was hoping that they were going to be able to implement the changes while it was live to change it up instead of taking the actual game down completely. I understand why they did, but
Well, something else I've observed about Gala Games is they seem to be doing a lot of the hard work up front and a lot of the scaling work. They're doing a lot of scaling work right now, and scaling, whenever you scale an application, which means you make it so it can handle more and more people and traffic, whatever. Those are some major architecture changes, and so that in keeping with things, once they realize that they need to make some major I'd say people realized a long time earlier that they need to make economic changes, but I think once they got to a point where they needed to make major economic architecture changes, I think they just bit the bullet and did it. as far as the economics changes, people knew for months before they cut things off that things were going south.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think you were in my Discord at the time. I was posting it in my Discord, like, just be cautious. This can't last forever, because it was insane. The markup that it was going and how fast that price was increasing. And it's just unsustainable. So.
And they're even talking now about burn mechanisms that they're planning to do with town and stuff. I am curious, like all the other people that have town earning stuff, that will people even be able to earn town after a while through playing the game, or by possessing an NFT that pays town, because they've changed it from you're earning town from this NFT to you're earning town points to all the new NFTs don't even earn town points.
Yeah, no, they're all just in-game buffs basically.
And now they're giving out money. They're giving out town if you like score on a leaderboard. Well, that drastically reduces the number of people that can earn town a day. It's not like everybody can anymore, and you're not going to have 50 million people play this game just so that they can score in the top 10. That's too much to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's where a lot of the earnings, and you and I had this discussion a long time ago about that, and I think the play to own, and that has come out from Gala themselves lately. They're kind of shifting, at least Townstar, towards the play to own. And if you can get something for your NFT on the secondary market, fantastic. They bumped up the creator fees, so that'll help them on the back end, help Gala on the back end. But I think the only money you're going to earn is through these competitions. At least from the way I'm reading into it at this point, it sounds like that's the direction that they're going to go.
Yeah, I think the competitions, though, they're going to have like hourly, daily, weekly type competitions, and they're going to be built out so it's not because right now you do a weekly play and it's a grind. I think a lot of the stuff they're going to do are going to be very short term. Hey, can you, if you make 10 wheat, you're going to earn 1 town coin or something around those lines. So they're going to be much more pointed and short. I think they're still going to have their long ones, but we'll see. Again, I'm excited for it to come out. When they came out with the first iteration of what they wanted to do with the distribution of town, I was excited for how that was going to play out. I was like, okay, this is great. This is actually good news for town and its economy. But then, they weren't happy with all the people that were dumping on the market. So they just stopped people being able to earn until they could get all of the play stuff in, which again, rolls back around to Gary Chain, because it's all going to be on Gary Chain.
Well, I was personally, I was fine with all the town that they were giving out, because my one thing that I was reminding people of is you got to get the town out there for liquidity. However, I think I might have underestimated how quickly that they'd be able to build out that economy. And so I think once they might have even realized, oh my God, it's going to be 6 months before we could change anything. That's probably why they stopped it, because it's been a number of months now. It's been since what, July?
Yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah,
it's been quite a bit. So,
well, I think eventually, though, if they can, and I hate using the analogy, but it's the best way to put it. If they can get Townstar looking more like they upgraded Farmville and stuff like that, and change that economy to a tighter model like that, because my wife sits and plays that new Farmville constantly, and she just looks at Townstar and she's like, yeah, no. So I think a lot of it will hinge on that, and perhaps down the road that economy could evolve again into earning similar to what it did before, but not until I don't think it hits something of the visual and playability factor to where it's not just something to do to make money, and actually makes it a game that someone can get addicted to.
It'll happen. Make a good game and people will come and they'll play. I mean, that's their ethos. They want to make good games, great games. and I think they got a few in the pipeline. So,
all right, so Nate's got to get going because he has things to do and places to be. So I think we should boot him off for right now. And Titan, do you have anything more to say? Do you want to keep this going?
Yeah, I mean, you and I can talk. That's fantastic, and I love having Nate on. Where do people go though if they want to explore more about the DAO, more about nerd nodes, and get more details? Where would they go for that?
So if they want to get in and talk DAO stuff, we have a Discord. So they just need to send a DM to me or Faz, and we can hook them up, get them an invite. If they want to learn about Nerd Node, again, send an invite out. We have a Discord there. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Forged in Crypto. I'm Forged in Crypto in Discord, like anywhere. Yeah, that's
so
about it.
I need a DAO logo, and I know I'm a member of this DAO, so I'd be able to come up with one. But the DAO doesn't have a logo. Is there going to be some sort of contest eventually, or some way to get a logo for it?
Yeah, I like the contest idea. We should do that.
Yeah. But we need a logo. We know there's smart people out there that actually, well, people who are actually good at art to do logos. And don't say me, because I make zip bugs. I'm not a big logo person.
Oh,
Though I did make the Faz Radio logo, sort of.
I'm sure there's people out there that will happily throw some cool ass shit together, and we can do a little contest. Maybe throw a spider tank out there for the winner. I got
that's a good idea.
Okay, wait a minute. Is this going to be some cheap common spider tank? Because that's going to be laughing at people.
Yes, what? It is a cheap common spider tank.
See how I throw that out there to where if you even agree with that, it makes you look bad?
Look, I don't care. I don't care what you or other people think. So guess what?
It's going to give you the smallest little pop gun in the spider tank game.
They can do it for free and get nothing. That's the other option. So, I mean, my grandpa used to say, if you, want in one hand and shit in the other, which one fills up first? So
everybody's like got an asshole.
Grandfather quote that you've given that I loved.
Oh, dude, my grandpa was the best. I love that guy. He was amazing.
Okay, so basically, the idea of giving away a spider tank, this. I would feel like this should happen pretty close to the 31st because that's when Spider Tanks is starting.
Well, I got a few common Snoop tanks that I know they're common. I'm sorry, whatever. But let's throw one of those out there. Let's put it together, at least make it official, and then we can tweet it out, put it in the Discords, and go that route. We still need a real name though, too. I think Players DAO is a little lame.
It is.
It may stay, but I think maybe we do a naming contest as well. So.
That would be good.
And if you don't like the name, are you going to change it to a spreadsheet format?
Look, I'm literally right now on Twitter looking at the Shooty Boom thing.
Let's call it the Shooty Booms DAO. That way we can rub it in their faces.
Do you remember when they came out and they were like, "Oh, we want everybody to pick a name, and we're going to let the community vote on it"? And Shooty Booms was hands down. Everybody was going to vote it. So they didn't even put it in the ability for people to choose. It was ridiculous. It was so bad.
I know. I still name my town Shooty Booms every single time.
I love it. It's a great name. So I'm trolling spider tanks right now.
Okay, Shooty Booms DAO it is. I like that because you Shooty Booms in a lot of games.
Look, this is a community. We have to have the community vote, not just you, Faz. It's a DAO.
Sorry. You can anybody who disagrees with me, show me how it goes. How's that?
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me the evidence.
Okay, so at the moment there is a Discord called Players DAO. Maybe we should somehow post. I'll post something in the in YouTube at the very least. Probably have to post elsewhere on the Faz Radio Twitter for people outside of YouTube because we have people outside of YouTube now.
Nice, dude. Awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to head out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your show, and we'll chat soon.
All right.
See ya.
See you guys.
Titan, you're up while I'm looking for links there.
So I do want to make a comment. You had posted something a little bit earlier today talking about lately a lot of this space has been an echo chamber.
But yes, I'd like to go on that. By the way, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who have responded in chat too, so we can get to them. Real quick, I'm going to post the Players DAO Discord link in YouTube. I think it goes to YouTube and Twitter, but not Twitch. It always like freaks out with Twitch.
Yeah, I'm with Punjab there, right? Give him a common logo if he's given a common tank. If he wants a legendary logo, he's gonna have to dig deep.
I'm trying to amp up Nate's game. I'm like, give a legendary tank for a legendary logo, man. He's like, well, you want a pile of shit? Anyway, great answer. I totally roast the guy. He's him and I are very good friends, and so because of that, I roast him. Otherwise, if I'm really nice and I never say anything mean about you, that's because I really don't trust you, or I don't like you that much. But if I like you, then I'll roast you. Anyway, yes. Can you ask that question again? People being very negative.
No, well, not so much negative, but an echo chamber. It's very, very quiet. And
you mean on the CryptoFaz Discord, or are you talking about?
Well, everywhere. It's just quiet. Twitter, CFA, Gala Discord. It's a lot of silence, or there's like a lot of negativity.
Yeah. So yeah, even Twitter has calmed down. I noticed this the last time that crypto took a beating, which was back in 2018. 2018 was a very slow year for crypto because it just kept going down and down and down. And things got better after about March of 2019. But I mean, even I stepped away from crypto for a while because there just was no good news. Everything you heard about was things were just going down. I did, however, hear probably the most optimistic stuff during that time about crypto. I kind of liked there being a bear market at the time because I kept hearing about new things happening. There are new things happening right now, and I'm hearing about them, but I'm not hearing a lot of people recognizing this. And I think it's because they're not actually paying attention. So I'm paying a little bit more attention now. And there's actually a crypto news aggregator I use called CryptoPanic. You can install it on your phone, or I think there's a website, but CryptoPanic basically aggregates all the crypto news that's out there, and you find out about everything that's going on at the time. So CryptoPanic is pretty good for finding a lot of good stuff. I think it's times like now that people need to recognize that everybody is heads down and building at the moment. And if they can build right now, they're going to be very solvent during a bull market. If they're solvent now, they'll be solvent then. Doubly solvent more, then. And I'm still building my zip bugs. I try to do at least 1 or 2 a day. I drew a couple last night, but at the rate I'm going with the digital stuff, they probably won't see the light of day for a couple months. Well, I have digital bugs, and then I have the drawn bugs, and then I turn the drawn bugs into digital ones, and now I have some digital ones that I have redrawn. So it's kind of come full circle.
Holy cow! So, I do have a little bit of a bitch about we build during a bear market. You're building no matter what. All right, whether it's bull or bear, you're building, and
when you're building
probably faster.
When you're building during a bull market, people expect you to build so fast, and it takes forever to get things done, and just the slightest bit of really good news gets all sorts of investment and stuff like that. During bear markets, you can build a lot, and people are like, huh. But at least you have the time to be able to build during a bear market. There are a lot of projects building right now. I'm intimately familiar with a few of them, and I'm seeing stuff like this every day. I keep seeing companies investing in crypto, government entities getting into crypto, talking about crypto and stuff. But that's not what you hear on Twitter and stuff like that. You hear about apes on Twitter.
You know, if what Nate was saying is true, and you know, he says his outlook is it's going to be a while, and I think it's going to be at least until spring, and who knows after that. I think this whole landscape is calming down either way, right? So there was this big hype, this big push when everything got popular and everybody was talking about the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars they were picking up in crypto. I think it's times like this that people will remember it, and I think they'll be real hesitant to get back in.
I don't think so. I think what will happen is the market will go up and they'll say, "Holy shit, I didn't get back in." I mean, that's what happened before. In 2020, there was a big dip in March of 2020 when COVID started, and then all through 2020, shit started building and building and building and building, and then by the time we got to 2021, people were like, "Holy fuck, man, what's going on?" And then they all started aping in at that point. But I don't know. I was putting a lot of money into the market in early 2021, right in March when shit went through the floor. I was putting stuff in right then and there. I was like, fuck, $5, $10. I didn't have a lot at the time because all my crypto had gone into the shitter. But
well, back then though,
work.
too, you didn't hear about such big rug pulls and like Luna catastrophes and stuff like that. The system has kind of swayed itself to the point of making people not want to be a part of that, because it is very risky to get into that, especially being unregulated.
Actually, that's part of the problem, is that things have built up to a certain point where crashes became big news. There was so much money that had come into the crypto market by the height of the bull market. And by the way, it wasn't the bull market when Terra Luna, for example, hit the fan. It was when everything went down that it hit the fan. And it's like, oh, this wasn't a very sustainable business model for a decentralized setup. In fact, I bet Terra Luna is gonna do a lot better again. Yes, the original Terra Luna is going to go back up once the market goes back up, because people will buy dog shit in a bull market.
Oh, I don't doubt that. You know, though, you have some of the, like I saw today. What's that guy's name? The Sam Friedman, the FTX guy. They're trying now, I guess, at FTX to build their own stable coin. And I'm not so sure. We had talked about this a very long time ago. One of the first Faz casts that we had ever done, we had this conversation. And how much is too much, right? So you get 50 stable coins. You don't know which is which and whose is by whose. You have 50 different wallets to choose from. When does too much become too much, and people, they can't even tell the difference? So they're like vapor locked with making a decision about anything.
I don't have a good answer for you there. Sorry.
Because it's starting to get that way with this gaming, right? So we're before it was like pretty much Gala Games and what do you call it, Axie Infinity. Before, those were the only two like that people would talk about.
Actually,
and now there's like 20.
Let's be a little bit more clear. So I think you're kind of showing some of this echo chamber outside of our Gala Games play to earn echo chamber. Not very many people know what's going on. People, if they've heard of play to earn at all, have heard about Axie, and that's it. I haven't seen a lot of news articles about Gala Games other than like Venture Beat kind of articles or something in the Wall Street Journal saying, hey, this new gaming company. There's been dick for marketing on that. As far as these other games out there, we know about them, yes, but a lot of other people don't. So that's what this echo chamber is doing. Is if you're in play to earn gaming, you know about the other stuff, but there's more people outside of it. There's the people in it are like 0.0001% of the world. Nobody knows about play to earn gaming right now.
Well, not even so much the play to earn gaming, but just blockchain gaming in general. Because a lot of these other ecosystems, like EVIO, it's very, very inexpensive NFTs, very small payouts, but they make cool games. You have your premium and you have your quick and dirties, right? So I think this Epic idea of having the blockchain games hosted in a traditional format is going to help, because I can see companies like Epic doing that and then kind of sneaking in the NFT thing as just, tradable assets. And then it moves towards the NFTs, and then they start creating their own internal dexes, and then they open it up to where you can trade it on regular dexes. That slow model might be the way to get the adoption that they're looking for. Whereas you have your galas and some of these others that are just like instantly you're at complexity level 400, right? Where people don't even know what a wallet is, or the care that it requires to have a wallet and how to do something with their tokens and convert it into cash. People don't know how to do that stuff, but they're jumping in head first, right? I did, the example I give a lot is I did a giveaway for NFTs not too long ago. For a contest on another Discord. And the person who won didn't know what I meant when I said, hey, I need your wallet address so I can send you your prize. I had to walk that person through getting their NFT prize, right? So they didn't really understand what an NFT was. They didn't understand what their wallet was, but they had just put a substantial amount of money into the crypto ecosystem. So there is that danger there, and having that huge step up into this complex gaming world, I think, is the wrong approach to take. I think the sneaky way that Epic is going to do it is going to be the formula for success.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I rambled a bit there, didn't I?
I was actually reading the comments there. LA Toolman was saying typical hodler is about 80 to 90% down. Not from when I got in. Sorry.
Well, I can agree with that. I'm about 90% down from where I was.
If you got in around 2020, 2021, I think you're about 80 to 90% down. Yeah. I got in 2017. And just depending on what I got originally, no, it's not that much lower, or it's not that bad. It is bad. Definitely the whole market went down by about 80 to 90%. True.
I think as all of these things try to emerge, right? Because you've got all these sectors. You've got gaming, you've got KYC type companies, you've got exchange platforms, you have regular like healthcare that wants to use blockchain. You have all these industries that are going to be wanting to get into this space and issue those tokens. And you had brought up examples in the past about, Target or Walmart or whoever is going to have their own NFTs for discounts and things like that. I see where this is going with CBDCs, though. That, I think, is going to be the way that they try and limit how much crypto other than their CBDC that you can own.
Well, I think with CBDCs, the whole point is to get people to use a secure method of transferring money in the same way that crypto promises. But they want that to be the transferring of value. I'm still wondering how CBDCs actually offset NFTs or any other kind of value-based crypto. Like you wouldn't buy Gala, in my opinion, the Gala coin, in my opinion, to compete with Bitcoin. You'd buy it because the whole point of the Gala coin is to buy something in the Gala Games ecosystem. Well, there's other ecosystems where you can buy coins to buy things in that ecosystem. DeFi is a lot like that too. You're going to buy a DeFi coin because you want to be in that ecosystem. Bitcoin and CBDCs, they don't replace that.
No, they don't replace that.
So if they were to say something like you must use the CBDC to transfer value, that's a little weird. It's like, well, it's like saying, well, you can't buy and sell houses and only dollars matter. Well, as long as houses are valued in dollars, you're fine. And so the US government has it right now to where if you do buy crypto and you buy and sell a crypto, whatever crypto it is, NFT or otherwise, it has a dollar value, and whatever dollar value that is, you'll be taxed on it. Okay. They'll just, all they're going to do is just say $1, whether it's a CBDC or not. By the way, CBDC is a central bank digital currency. It's the U.S. government basically wants to do things like crypto, but stamp it with the U.S. dollar logo. Say, this is a crypto dollar. Somebody else can't come up with a crypto dollar. So really, they're after those stable coins. They're not after all these Ethereum tokens that we're talking about here.
I don't know. It's going to be a challenge, I think, to bring people around to digital money and digital earnings. And there's a lot of us that understand the concepts and have taken the time to do it. Most people don't want to take the time to do stuff like that. They just want to get their fun on and enjoy life and not have to worry about all the crazy things that go into digital money.
Well, I think there's I like to call it the grandma test. If it's simple enough to where grandma can use it, that's fine. I'm still remembering back in the day when email first came out. And I say first came out, email's been around since the 1970s, but people really only started using email late 80s, early 90s. So if you had email in the 70s, it was because you were a forward-thinking business that had a computer system that was cool enough to where you had email. And even then, it was email between the offices. But later, when the internet started getting a lot more popular, and I believe that was in 1993 or 92 or 93 due to a law, the internet started building out more. That's when email became kind of useful because you could send something to anyone. Well, grandma didn't know what email was back then. Grandma only knew what email was when they needed an AOL account to talk to maybe their sister in another state or something, or it was easier to do things. What's going to happen is you're going to go to stores buying things, and the stores are going to say, we take Bitcoin, or we take this US CBDC now. And then people are going to be like, oh, well, what if I pay in that? What do I get out of that? They'll be like, we'll give you less fees. We won't charge you we won't have credit card fees then. You'll have CBDC fees. But, you'll have, it'll be easier in this way. And then that's how people will migrate over, is once they realize it's easier. Well, cash is actually a pain. You got to go pull it out of a bank, either via an ATM or being handed the money. You don't want to lose it, so it's possible to lose it. It's fragile. It could be ripped up. It could be destroyed. Well, you don't have those things with your crypto wallet. Everybody right now is actually using their credit cards for a lot of things because you just have a card, you pay it, it's done. Well, okay, sounds like the same companies would just start just doing crypto transactions. Then use your credit card for a crypto transaction, and then they'll charge you the fees. And then, crypto would become more useful, and grandma would be interested once they realize that it's cheaper than say a credit card transaction. That's how it's going to be pulled over. That's how the public is going to start using it.
I'm not so sure, though, that they can get their fingers in there to collect fees.
Oh, well, you collect fees as far the same way that you do with cash. If you want this, you got to pay the fee. This costs $5, but you got to pay the fee. If they make it easier to pay with the crypto, if you happen to have a lot of crypto, and pay this fee in crypto, and this fee is 1% cheaper. Okay, sure. That's how they encourage. It'll be because they encourage you to use it, and they're going to encourage you to use it because companies using crypto save more money. In my opinion, companies that use crypto will save more money than companies that would be using cash. I remember years ago. Well, yeah, years ago I worked in a mall, for example. I worked at a game store in a mall, and we'd sell a bunch of video games. And at the end of the night, I was like 19 at the time. I would take the money out of the cash register, and since I worked in a mall, I put the money in a little bank bag, and then I walked the bank bag down to the deposit box at the bank. They had a little card for me, so I typed in that stuff and I deposited the money every night in the bank deposit box. Well, that was work that I don't need to do. It would be a lot better if that when people bought a game, which you could do on Steam now. But if people bought an item in a store, that the transaction would simply just credit the bank instantly. There's no need for anybody to walk down cash to a bank. The cash is the last frontier. People like cash because you could pay somebody else to do something without a bank being in the middle. And that's the allure of crypto. So I can pay you for anything without a bank being in the middle. However, countries want their CBDCs to be in the middle. They're like, well, this is just like crypto, but it's better because it's approved by the United States. So they're going to try to lead you away from that and say, well, it is easier to use this CBDC than it is for crypto. So there's going to be that going on for a while too, I think.
I hope they're able to do it that way.
I hope not, actually. I'd prefer the anonymity and security of crypto, to be honest.
They're not going to do that. They're going to try and get it as centralized as humanly possible, because not only do they want to control it, but they want to be able to have the power over it too. And with some of the platforms, they'll be able to do that fairly easily. With others, it will not. And I can definitely see that there is going to be a struggle with a lot of that, and it's going to get ugly before it gets nicer.
Well, they're going to struggle to understand it. Getting back to the email analogy, in the beginning, a lot of government agencies had email addresses, but they weren't a way to communicate with the agency. They were a way to communicate with individual employees. Like if I had a friend who worked at the Department of Defense, which I did back in 1995, I'd send him an email because, hey, how you doing? What's up, Fred? And then I get an email back from him. We didn't conduct business through email. In fact, his email had a little disclaimer on it saying that he couldn't conduct business. Well, now you conduct business over email all the time. So what changed? That's the same thing is going to happen with crypto. At a certain point, it's going to go from something that is rarely done to it's just plain easier. And what happens is the company or business or entity that you work for starts realizing, whoa, I could save a lot of money if I just did this through email or through crypto. Okay, let's just dump all this other stuff and just do it this way. But they'll probably transition off to it. People, I don't even know if it's possible to walk into a company and get. Is it even possible to walk into a company and get somebody to help you out with your product problem?
I don't know. I've never.
Well, go
walked into a
home,
company.
get on your phone, and then we'll call you. How's that? Oh, wait, no, you can't do that. You got to talk with our automated system. Just dial this number for our automated system, See, it's going to all be automated.
Well, a lot of these places have AI smart enough to do all that anyway. I mean, I have AI working on my Google phone right now. The person that calls in gets screened, and you can't tell that it's not a human being. And that's both wonderful and scary at the same time. I think that this AI technology, when put into crypto, is gonna be a massive turning point towards adoption. But again, you have that control problem with who gets to be the one that controls that AI. Is it going to be private companies? Is it going to be the government? And how is that going to automate things such as, are they going to take taxes out automatically from your accounts as it's earned? Are you going to not be able to get an actual human being to do anything under the guise of, well, machines don't have the emotion and can't corrupt the system? It's crazy where it's turning to now.
Well, laws have to catch up with that. I mean, you can only be taxed in certain ways. What you're suggesting actually is that everything be part of a sales tax or something.
Well, no, I'm saying that's where they could take any of this with the levels of technology that they have now.
Yeah. The biggest problem I see with crypto in general is the ability for Congress and others and regular people to understand its purpose and its promise. A lot of them really don't understand. AI is the Antichrist, says Punjab.
Well,
AI,
it depends on how it's used.
Okay, so I throw this at my wife all the time because we were talking about AI art just last night. The cotton gin was the Antichrist. The cotton gin was invented by Eli Whitney in the United States. It might have even been invented before that, but the history that I know is invented by Eli Whitney in the United States. Cotton had to be picked by hand, and the seeds had to be removed by hand. Cotton gin was a machine that removed the seeds from cotton. Well, this machine allowed factories that made clothing, enabled those factories to happen. So basically, the whole concept scaled up from people who were all employed picking cotton, mostly slaves in the case of the United States. But you had people that were mostly picking cotton, all losing their jobs and being replaced by factory workers who could do things with the cotton. And now when AI art is now coming out, the question becomes, well, the artists aren't going to be compensated for their work. Well, no, it's not going to be where you have individuals slaving away for days and weeks and months coming up with a single picture. The nature is going to change. The nature of art is going to change. You might provide a prototype and have an AI help you flesh something out. If you have to draw 50,000 leaves on a tree, you won't need to do that because an AI can do it for you. Well, the same thing goes with AI with customer services and stuff like that. We can concentrate more on other things. However, customer service, the reason we all like humans in customer service, let's get honest, is because we can manipulate other humans. We can get them to feel sorry for us. We can get them to get their manager. AI prevents Karens from being very effective. We lose our last ability to really go around the rules and influence people. So AI, if anything, makes companies far more evil because now they're able to enforce their policies 100% on customer interaction. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Wow.
See how I made something sound really positive, but it's negative at the very last minute? I mean, it's really both.
Well, I am fresh out of ideas. We've been going for 2 hours here.
Oh, I could go for a long time, but I think these guys are getting kind of tired now. It's been almost 2 hours now.
Right?
So, but I need to eat something anyway. I've been eating this chocolate bar for the last hour, and I'm starting to get really hungry.
I've got a few things I have to do after the show. Would you like to tell them what that is, or do you want to wait until tomorrow?
I might not be ready tomorrow, but I don't know. You could say something. Something.
We're
Don't
building.
promise like it's going to be done, but you could promise that it's going to be
No.
started.
We're building in the downtime, and we're building a couple of things that I think people would be pretty interested in. And we're gonna do it the Galloway. We're just gonna whisper, "This is like big. It's really big. You're gonna love it." Except we're not gonna charge you for it. So we win.
Wait,
that
what?
battle.
We're not. Oh, never mind.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. What
Well,
we're
hey.
doing is we're preparing for a bull market.
That's a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it.
If you have the shit ready, if you build it, then it can be used during a bull market. We got to show people. It helps to live your own philosophy.
It does, and I think as our passions move, and as we grow, and as we learn, and as we discover new things, it's going to be like constantly in motion. I don't think any of us are ever going to stop. At least the people, a lot of the people in CFA are the same way. You know, they're building their own things too, and we just don't know about a lot of it.
So while the bear market is going on, our plans are going to pretty much stay on the down low. If there becomes a big bull market, well, then we'll have an ability to scale up. And that's what I want, is the ability to scale up. Then it'll be a bigger deal, and we'll be able to be like, aha, see?
Very, very true.
All right, I'm almost out of my chocolate bar here, and so I'm going to have to go and get some real food. So thank you guys again for stopping by and listening to us. And I got to go post this on like all the other places now.
Very cool. We will talk at you tomorrow for Faz Radio Live Friday night.
Yeah, what he said.
Have a good evening, folks.